Hey, it is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. No, really, say that thing out loud. Forward ever, backwards never. Did you get your copies of It Takes One to Know One Workbook and Journal, People Pusher, and Remember Me? No, well, go over to pusherlife.org and get your copies today. And while you're over there, do not forget to take the pledge, healing 1 million people, one person at a time. You're not taking the pledge for me. You're taking the pledge for yourself. You are committing to your growth and development. So while you're over there, take the pledge. And if you have any community functions, events coming up or had, and you would like to share, if you've read It Takes One to Know One and you've done the work, and if you want to give a short testimony, you can go to the website. You can post pictures. You can post not anything you want, people. We got to be respectful, right? So it's just about your healing. You can document it even through the website, whatever it is. Forward ever, backwards never. Yes, but I ain't feeling in a given mood today, baby. But forward ever, backwards never. Yes. So without further ado, I am going to stop rambling. I am excited. I am always excited. I'm excited for a number of reasons, but in this particular moment, I am excited because I get to sit with and question someone that I've known for some time. And I can remember this young lady sharing with me in classroom 4. I will never forget her vision, just for her life, where she wanted to go. And I tell you, she has done more and beyond. And so it's just exciting. My sister always reminds me, my big sister, she always reminds me that God, no matter where you go in life, no matter what you do, God will leave witnesses. And I can attest to this young lady's journey. I am so proud of her. I am excited for her. And I am standing with her, beside her, and behind her to cover her, because I am excited. I'm not going to announce it. I'm going to just let her do it as she introduce herself. You know, when I get excited, I tend to I leave myself, but I am going to take my time, because although I know this young lady, you all don't. But you will get to know her on this evening. So without further ado, I am going to stop rambling and bring this young lady up. I see y'all in the chat. I will shout y'all out, but we got to handle business first. I want you to listen, ask your questions, put them in the chat. If you got an encouraging word, give an encouraging word. This is our sister. We're going to welcome her to the Pusher community. And we're just going to encourage her, because this evening is a big deal. Not only are we introducing and we want something from you all, but we are also celebrating too this young lady, because that is what we do over here. So without further ado, I am going to get out of the way and bring this young lady up. Yes. Y'all see this beautiful chocolate queen next to me? Y'all better get with it. Yes. Girl, I am excited, but I am going to just shut up and ask that you introduce yourself to the Pusher community. To those that do not know you, we have people on here from Baltimore to Texas, baby. You don't never know who's watching, but it is people from all over that supports the channel, supports what we do over here. Definitely support me in everything that I do. This is the best community ever. I just love the Pusher community, and we are a community of pushers. Forward ever, backwards never. Yes. So I'm going to shout y'all out. Oh, hold up, I see Sean say Perry in the building. Come on, people, it is an exciting day. But all right, I'm not going to be distracted by the chat. Y'all know how I get. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself to those. Tell us a little bit about who you are. And while we are here, you are running for what you're running for.
Yes. So thank you so much for having me. Thank you all for taking time out of your, what is today, Wednesday evening to listen to me. My name is Qiana Johnson, and I am first and foremost a mother of two sons, wonderful sons. And I am also running for clerk of the Circuit Court of Prince George's County. Well, I'll just tell y'all more. So I'm running for clerk of the Circuit Court of Prince George's County, but I'm a lifelong Prince George's County resident. I'm also a former federal government employee. I did 11 and a half years of government service, with my last position being with the Department of Veteran Affairs. I'm also the founder and executive director of an organization called Life After Release that's based in Prince George's County. I'm also a member of the Governor's Task Force for Returning Citizens and Reentry Services. Um, and I just, I'm an organizer. I'm just a woman out here just trying to make change and be the change that I want to see, honestly. Oh, if you all,
Good. You are making it look good. So tell us, how has your journey shaped the woman and the leader you are today, right now?
Yes. So my journey has definitely played a huge role in the woman that you see before you today. There's no doubt in my mind that I would not be doing any of the things I'm doing today if I had not come via the way of being incarcerated and formally incarcerated. That is a part that has shaped my life. It has shaped my passion. It has shaped the reason why I want to run for clerk. And it is just something that a lot of women shy away from, right? They're ashamed. They are not willing to admit or to say that they have been incarcerated. But that's my story. That's going to always be a part of my story. I lead with this part of my story, and let people know that does not define me, right? The incarceration, although it did help develop me, it does not define who and what I am. I met some amazing women behind those walls, you being one of them, Shantae being one of them, and many others, right? And having that to shape me really put me in a position to want to run for this position.
Wow. So what does this moment mean for you personally?
This moment is ironically not even about me, right? It is about making an impact on a different level. My organization that I started in 2017, I was able to help a lot of people, support a lot of women. I bailed women out of jail. I have supported women with getting jobs. I have supported women with their education. I have done, brought home the very first juvenile lifer from incarceration after taking the governor out of the parole process. There's a lot of notable things that I have done in community already. As a founder and executive director of an organization. But this next level and this moment that I'm going into is now going to allow me to be at the table where a lot of things are happening that most people, particularly those who have been impacted by the system, where they can't reach. They don't even know where to begin. They don't know how to reach out to someone to say, hey, look, something's wrong with my paperwork. There's a mistake. And that actually happened to me, right? I actually stayed in prison 6 months longer because there was a mistake on my paper.
Right. I remember.
You remember that? I mean,
I
I think I
remember.
walked around that compound like a I just couldn't believe that such a grave mistake was happening. I was living a mistake that I couldn't get out of. And I was just kept trying to explain. I was trying to explain to the clerk. My family was trying to explain to the clerk. And just to give some more context, what happened was I had two judges in my case. I had two cases, two judges. One judge ran their sentence consecutive to the other judge. And because I went to court on the same day, one judge was in the morning and the other judge was in the afternoon. So there was no day in between. It was just literally hours in between my sentencing in each case. And so the clerk kept putting the one judge in front of the other when it was supposed to be turned the other way around. And I kept trying to explain it. It just felt like I had no voice. And I had to live that mistake of that clerk for 6 months. And it was the most daunting thing. It was the most, I just was so daunting because I knew that I was right. And after it finally got corrected, I was able to go home. And it felt like I was never going to go home. But, that's part of the reason why I want to run for this position. In addition to that, while I was away, my father got ill. My father got ill in June. I came home in August, and he had a blood clot that had released from his leg. He had prostate cancer. He had surgery for the prostate cancer. It was, it went well, but he wasn't taking his medicine. Had I been there to be his caregiver, he might still be with us. But he didn't take his medicine properly. He had these blood clots. And so by the time I got to my dad, he was a vegetable. He was laying on a hospital bed and laid on a hospital bed for 4 years. And I had to navigate the courts yet again, pro bono. I mean, not pro bono, pro se, by myself, without an attorney because I couldn't afford one. So I had to fight with his wife, his estranged wife through the system of guardianship and getting the proper things for my father, and understanding different parts of the law, and it just empowered me even more because a lot of people don't take things as far as I take it. I took it, I took it where I needed to take it in order to get what I needed to get out of the situation. But a lot of people, when people get sick or that, they're a caregiver or someone in their family dies without a will or something like that, they don't know how to navigate the courts. They're very afraid. And so I feel like running for this position, I will be able to help bring community to the courthouse.
Okay, so you actually answered my next question because my next question I was going to ask you about your experience of incarceration and how did that season impact your perspective on the justice system. So it that particular that 6 months that led you to say, you know what, I see this in my future, or was it your overall experience?
It was, that happened, and I thought about it. I was like, I knew where the mistake had come from. I knew it had come from the clerk, but it wasn't that moment that had actually did it. Remember, I said I had to go through the process with my dad for 4 years. So now I'm home 4 years going through the courts with my dad. And in that 4 years, in 2018, I started a court watching program. From 2018 to now, I have led community to watch over 5,000 court cases.
Wow.
And the results of those court cases actually made it to Georgetown and another organization, another legal entity organization, CRC, Civil Rights Corp, and they looked at the data and said, there's some unconstitutional things that's happening with pretrial, the way people are being detained pretrial in Prince George's County, and they started a lawsuit based on the information we had given them. So it was a compilation of all of those things that I had gone through, and just noticing that the common denominator was the courthouse, was the courts, not even necessarily the judge, not necessarily the prosecutor, but it was the courthouse. Even having to go through a VOP because I didn't get paperwork in the mail about my case. And I'm like, I didn't change my address. What do you mean you sent me a notice? I never got a notice. So it was a lot of the things that I had gone through, and then realizing that the person who has some influence over that is the clerk of the circuit court. And also, I'm a big advocate for jury duty. A lot of folks don't know that about me, but I'm like a jury. I'm a jury duty nerd.
I heard you out there. When we was in the Naples talking about jury duty, I said that thing's crazy. I'm not doing it. But the more I thought about it, I'm like, I get it. I definitely get it. And I can see that for you.
I love it. I mean, because I actually went to trial in my case, and I'm still fighting part of my case. Some of my case has been overturned, and I'm still fighting my case. I call myself a 10%er who actually has gone to trial. And it was just so surreal to me, like seeing the way that the jury interacted, how they fell asleep they fell asleep during my case, and they wasn't paying attention to some of the evidence. And it was just, I just couldn't believe it. And I've just been obsessed with juries ever since. And so I actually work with and sit on a board of an organization called the Jury Project, that's based in Louisiana. So I'm actually training people in my spare time. I train people on how to go through the voir dire process and how to be a good juror, because it's just as important as voting, if you ask me.
Right. It definitely is. And I have a friend who talks about the importance of us getting involved in those kind of spaces, because we don't really think about it. We don't really think about that's the inside. I call it the inside. Like, you got the judges, you got the prosecutors, the lawyers, but we never think about the juries, how important they are to the process. And we never really see ourselves involved in that particular process. I think we are frozen. Are we frozen? Okay, there we go. You was frozen for a minute. You frozen in time. So you said a whole lot. So I just want to unpack, just so that those that are listening, those that are watching, can really understand. So while I'm still inside your incarceration, so what aside from the legal aspect of it, and because that was hard, and we know that it's hard for everybody trying to get out. But personally, for you, especially those 6 months, what is the hardest lesson that you learned that is a part of shaping who you are right now?
Ooh, I think that's a loaded question. I'm gonna go with what I'm feeling like right now, and what has
Yeah.
been in my spirit. Particularly, it was in my spirit then, but it's really in my spirit now. But the way that women are treated that go through the system versus the men.
Mm.
Even down to like the clothing. Remember, we would fight about the baggy, the clothes was not fitting to us. The commissary items didn't have anything on there, which I helped to fight to get us some of those. Didn't
Yes, you
have,
did. I thank you, and I thank you, and I thank you.
they don't have they only had what the men body wash on there. They didn't. So we are such an afterthought in that system. And so from then until now, even the way that people perceive me, like the way that people right now are in the midst of, like, trying to like put things out online about me and how I'm not worthy to be a part of in the position. But there's actually men who go into the system for, things
Hold
that.
up, hold up. You moving too fast. I got a question.
Okay,
I'm gonna ask you about that. I'm gonna ask you about that. I ain't there yet.
that's what shaped me. Just the difference in the ways, the disparities in the ways in which women are so left out, not thought about, and just totally disregarded in the system.
Yeah, I was talking to one of my brothers today earlier, and I was talking to High Def Tone earlier about this, that the difference in how. Hey everybody, my twin is home. Let me take a minute and do my dance. My twin is home. Oh yes, oh yes, oh yes. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, I'll be back though. But one of the things that we were talking about today that I noticed as it relates to men and women, that even though both can plan a plan, in my personal opinion, and I'm not, it's like comparing apples to oranges, but the reality is men are built different, men function different. And when it comes to information, men lock on to information much quicker and much more serious than we do. They don't have to weed through insecurities and all the things that we go through emotionally before we get the nerve to say what it is we want to say or represent whatever it is that we want to represent. We go through a process, an internal process. because we got to watch our tone. We got to, make sure that we're being professional. We got to make sure that we're not hurting anyone's feelings, because as women, we can offend and hurt people much more quickly. So we have to be careful. But what I notice is my twin been home and he already booked and busy. He already is out here like doing it. Got his own place, his own apartment. Ain't been home 7 days. Got his own apartment. Got all his stuff already. You know what I mean? Of course, it takes a village. But then I watched him work. How he just went up, start talking and networking with people. And I'm like, I can't do that. I couldn't do that. I had to lead into walking into rooms. And I think that part of it, the aftermath, once we are released, that's the part that I'm looking at, the difference, how we are so different, but we don't have to be, because we have a voice as well. And if we can choose discipline over motivation, we can move just as quickly in our process as well. But I just thought that was intriguing that we were talking about that earlier today. All right, I'm done rambling. What does accountability mean to you now compared to back then?
What does accountability mean to me now compared to back then? Accountability means, in addition to taking ownership of the actions, also being accountable for restorative, right? Making sure that there's a process for restorative justice, making sure that there is a process where both the person that is harmed and the person that caused the harm are able to reconcile and able to have a product that is to have something that's good that come out of it, hopefully, but definitely taking that responsibility for what has happened, and also understanding that, and that's what I had to come to realize, is that a lot of the times my intent, I did not know. Like, I always thought it was just about my intentions. It's not about what you intended to happen. It's about the impact of your actions on other people, and having that understanding and saying that, what I intended, even though I didn't intend for this to happen, or I didn't intend, this is the outcome, and this is how it impacted someone else, and their feelings are valid, and how do we work through that? That's what accountability means to me.
Oh, that's what's up. Okay. All right. So I'm shifting. This is about, these questions that I'm about to ask you is about your credibility in building public trust. So this is the question where you will get ready to go in on. So now we can unpack that. Some people may question your past, right?
They are actively.
We are. However, what do you want to say to voters who may be unsure about trusting you in this role? What do you want to say to them?
What I want to say to them is, I've been in community for almost 10 years. It's coming up on 10 years for me in 2027. Can you believe it? Took me that long to build up enough courage to get it to actually run, right? But I want to say that for 10 years, I've been in community without any issue, right? Without.
Uh-oh. We frozen. We frozen. Every time something messed up, we frozen. I'm just going to start talking about my twin. All right, we frozen, and we just will keep going until she comes back in. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation so quickly, it must be her Wi-Fi. The only reason why this is important to me, one, is because she is someone who not just because she was impacted by the criminal justice system, even though that's one of the most exciting parts for me, because I like to prove people wrong. I like to show people, and I like to make people proud, just as louder as disappointing the naysayers, the people that are in disbelief.
I'm back now. Can y'all hear me? I'm having a storm. I don't know how many other folks are in the
Yeah,
midst of
we
a
are. I
storm.
am too, because I could see my screen
Yeah.
doing the thing that it do. But we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this. So continue if you want to finish.
So I've been in
And
community
hold up.
for almost 10 years with individuals who have relied on me, individuals who have called on me at 2 a.m. because of family members being held up and up in Marlboro. Being able to hold that information with being in confidence and being able to be trusted by a community with some of their most vulnerable moments in their lives, and actually being able to do that. I think Tasha is on here, one of the women who I bailed out and supported. She's openly talked about her being actively in addiction during the time that I bailed her out, but being able to hold her and have her trust me that when I say I'm going to do something, I do exactly that. Being in community and just holding the community, and they were being able to trust me, right, with very vulnerable information, and being trusted. I am a trusted voice in our community for almost 10 years.
I know that's right. Come on, 10 years. How do you plan to bring integrity and transparency to the office?
First and foremost, there aren't a lot of reports from that office, from the court. Period. There's just that's always been my issue with the courts, and that's why I started a court watching program, because there isn't. You can't go to a report to see how many people got locked up by a particular judge in a particular month. It just isn't there, and so I would definitely be bringing more transparency to the office by having public reporting, and also having an active media presence, social media presence, so that people can actually see what it is that we're doing in that courthouse. Also having I don't know if you have gone to the airport and you've seen like the little survey machines where you can just, how was your
Mm.
experience today? Right, having those interactive tools so people can actually let my office know what is happening, and then we could be able to respond. But I think the biggest thing for transparency in that office for me is active, more output from the office to community, looking like town halls, looking like a state of the courts, looking like a report that people, that's online, that people can go to and actually see what is actually happening.
Right. Okay, great. So I'm shifting into your vision for the role. What does the role of court clerk mean to you beyond paperwork and administration?
I believe that justice starts at the clerks. They're probably one of the most underlooked positions in the courthouse. Most people think about it. When you think of a court, you think of a judge, you think of a prosecutor, you think of even a defense attorney. Very seldomly do you see anybody, you may even see the court reporter, which most people confuse the court reporter with the court clerk. But the clerks are very, very important. Very, very important. And if they decided tomorrow that they were all going to go on strike, the courts would probably have to close down. They would not be able to function. And
Right.
so I want to be able to bring, first and foremost, working with the clerks to make sure that they all have what they need to be able to provide excellent customer service to the people and to the residents of Prince George's County. Because if they're not getting their needs met and getting what they need, they're not going to have the best morale to be able to show up for community. And so then outside of that, then I'll move outward to community and developing some type of community relations or some type of hub for the community to be able to connect. Over 100,000 people go to our courthouse every single month. That's a lot of people. That's the most visited agency in Prince George's County is our courts. And so being able to connect, whether it's a single father that's going through child custody or child support issues, or if it's a grandmother who lost her child to incarceration and she has to now get temporary custody orders for her grandchildren, um, and being able to connect them to community. Um, Usually everyone that is coming into the courthouse, usually you're not coming into the courthouse because it's the best day of your life. Not even
Right.
getting married there, because I want to get married at the Ritz Carlton. I don't know about anybody else. I necessarily don't want to get married at the courthouse, but some people do it because they do it. But it's not looked at as the best, or like, people don't run down to the courthouse with a lot of enthusiasm, put it like that. And so I want to be able to change that. I want to be able to change that as much as possible. Also having
So y'all know if y'all in PG County, y'all want to get married, y'all want the the hoopla, vote for. Oh man, yes. If y'all want to get married, come on down. Save you a little bit of money, but she'll make it work. Bring out the balloons, arches, and all of that.
we need storms. I'm appreciative of the storm.
Yeah, we're not complaining. We just gonna make it happen. So, Shantae, you actually answered my next question. What changes or improvements would you like to bring? We heard you talk about the changes that you will make, especially as it relates to community communication and opening it up for the community to learn and give and share their opinion. You already shared, and I think that that's more than enough, especially if it is a lack in that area. Shantae asks, how can someone become a part of the court watching process?
You can go to lifeafterrelease.org, and you can ask to become a volunteer. There's information on the website on how to volunteer so that you can become a court watcher. Right now, we can train you. You can watch you can watch courts anywhere. We can train you how to do that. But right now, we're just watching courts in Prince George's County.
Okay.
Remote. We are watching it virtually too. So I mean, you don't have to actually go to the courthouse to be it. That's one of the things that I fought for as an advocate. And that's another thing. I will never lose my spirit of advocacy.
Hold up. I ain't there yet.
Okay.
I'm getting ready to go there though. After you finish this thought out, I'm going there. I'm going to talk about that.
Yeah,
I got to talk about that.
lifeafterrelease.org so that you can sign up to become a court watcher.
So go where?
Lifeafterrelease.org.
Okay, lifeafterrelease.org. All right. So, all right, let's shift into, since you're so fast, let's shift into advocacy and impact. So, before we get into these line of questions, hey, April Fool. Oh, y'all funny. I did a real good April Fool's joke at work today. It was really, really good. I got one person. I got two people at work today. I couldn't get the executive director. She played too much. She was already on point to my shenanigans. But listen, so one of the things that I want to say publicly to you is thank you. I want to say thank you for making it official for me, because I went through your training, your advocacy training, when I first was released. And I hold dear to that, because even though I believe I am a natural advocate representing many issues. But for me in my heart, it didn't become official until I took your training. And I had many trainings, you know that. I didn't have many trainings, but I appreciate the process. I appreciate you even giving me the invitation to take part in that. But it definitely impacted my life for the good. And now I'm out here advocating,
Yes.
And I have to thank Life After Release for making that official, giving me the opportunity to be trained and to learn more, because we come already with a wealth of knowledge, but we're always open to learn more. So I just publicly want to say thank you for allowing me to go through that process, because
you're more than welcome, and thank you for trusting me with you. A lot of people don't trust, so I thank you, and you're welcome.
Indeed. But I know you're the real deal. I didn't have plenty of conversations with you to know that you're the real deal. And that's why we here having this conversation tonight. So speaking about your advocacy, how will your lived experience help you advocate for fairness within the system? Let me just say this, because one of the things in this experience that I've noticed is that some people can be led by their emotions doing this work, and that doesn't work. It doesn't work. It does not work to be led by your emotions. So what would your live experience, how would that help you advocate?
Um,
Or how has it
how
been?
has it? And I've actually matured in the way that I've advocated. You know, when I advocated in the beginning, I advocated out of a lot of hurt, anger, and pain. And I allowed it to come out in ways that I, didn't necessarily understand. And so now I'm able to advocate, and that's one of the reasons why I wouldn't consider have running then. I was too angry. I was too hurt, right, at that time. And so now what my advocacy, my experience has taught me is that we have to be able, like you said, we have to remove our emotions, right? Understanding that our feelings, necessarily aren't the facts, or our feelings aren't necessarily, although they're valid, right? They're not necessary. We don't have to lead with those emotions. And so being able to be at the table, today I took a picture and I cried all day. I took a picture with the sheriff that, she remembered me. I was at an event, and she saw me and she said, "I know you. I remember you. I remember the day that you were sentenced. I gave you a hug and I wouldn't put you in the cuffs, and I prayed with you." And I said, "Oh my gosh, yes." And there was a time where I was angry at every sheriff. Every every sheriff could get it, right? Every single sheriff, every police officer, every prosecutor. And I was leading from a place. I was emoting. I was leading from a place. But now I understand that the world is going to have police officers in it. The world is going to have sheriffs in it. The world is going to have prosecutors in it and judges. So how can I, with my lived experience, with the people who've trusted me to be voices for them for so long, how can I go into these spaces and uphold with integrity, uphold with my values, to be able to still get what we need, understanding that police officers ain't going nowhere, sheriffs are
Right.
not going anywhere, people getting locked up, unfortunately, it probably in my lifetime is not going anywhere. So how can I come into this process and advocate within the process for the most fairest restorative outcome that there possibly could be? Is how my advocacy started and how I've evolved to now where I am as an advocate.
Wow, that's incredible. What message do you have for individuals who are currently incarcerated or who are returning home and feels like their past disqualifies them from taking a leap of faith like this?
First and foremost, in the state of Maryland, as of 2020, as of 2016, you can run for office. You can vote. You can vote. You can vote. Whether or not you're on parole, if you're on probation, it does not matter. As long as you're not behind bars, you can vote, right? So understanding that first and foremost. And if you can vote, you can run for office, right? And so there is no barrier there. And understanding that you are not disqualified. God has not disqualified you. And what God has put forth for you to do, no man, no man can disqualify you. And that's easier for me to speak that than for me to actually live that, because people are actively telling me that you don't deserve to be clerk with the record that you have. You don't deserve to be in these positions. You don't deserve that. But that's a lie. That is a lie. And although it may hurt to try to live through that, get you a nice support system. Get you people that understand and that truly love and care about you, so that you can go to them and you can cry to them if you need to, or you can talk things out. Because I know that not only am I qualified, when I came home, I got my degree in legal studies with a minor in public safety. So in addition to my lived experience, I have education. I have a degree on my wall that says that in addition to my lived experience, I'm also qualified by my educational experience. So if
Come
you
on now, talk your stuff.
so if you have to go back to school or if you have to go back to get that certification, keep on bettering yourself. And the only person that you are in competition with is the person you were yesterday and no one else. Continue to better yourself. Continue to be not only motivated but disciplined. I learned that from you. Learn to be disciplined, right? In those days where you're not motivated, be disciplined because you are definitely worthy. You are valuable.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay, here's another shift. This is about community connection. I am not from Prince George's County, but I go to Prince George's County Court. I do, I do, I do. What does Prince George's County mean to you?
Well, during my period of when I was going to court, it meant plead guilty county. That was the joke around the town, was that it meant plead guilty county, but or pretty girl county. There's a lot of different jokes of what the P and the G stands for. But for me, it is now something that I can. Uh, it is now a place in which I'm going to um, create a systemic shift in the way that things are being done. Prince George's County is the place that raised me. I was born in Washington, D.C., but I came to Prince George's County around the age about 5 or so, and I've been here ever since. And so, there was a time where I didn't want to have anything to do with Prince George's County. I hated it, hated it. But that meant that I also had to hate the people that were here. And I am just leaning into my people. My people deserve community. Our people deserve justice. Our people deserve people that care about them truly and not just career politicians. And so for me, I take pride now in being a Prince George's County resident, even a formerly incarcerated one.
Wow. So because you've been on both ends of the spectrum, and it makes me grateful that you can see from, although you have experienced both um parts ends of the spectrum, you can still make decisions and function according to where you are today, right now. And that speaks to my past doesn't define me. My past didn't make me. It just helped shape the woman that I am. So I can appreciate that. What are some real issues residents are facing that the clerk's office can help address?
What are some real issues? Because historically, the clerk's position has basically been, and everybody who's been in it, in my opinion, have just pushed the paper, put the calendar, put the date on the calendar, and flip the file, like file the stuff away. That's basically been the posture of the majority of the people who've been. That's all that it requires, really, honestly. I'm having people telling me you can't do that in the clerk's office. You can't do this in the clerk's office. All you got to do is just push the paper, really. And so again, the amount of misinformation and the amount, like, just I talked to one of the home monitoring guys who I have a really good relationship with at the home monitoring place. And we were just talking, and he was like, "You'll be surprised how many times clerks send people over to my office for wills, or how many times they, instead of sending them upstairs to the register of wills office, which is just upstairs, they're sending him. Oh, they're sending those people, those residents, those over to the A1's office." And he says it happens all the time. Like, it's a pattern. So that misinformation and that misguidance of, like, telling people, where to go. And even myself, I bailed out a lot of women, and sometimes I have to post a circuit bail. Like, there's a bail in district court level where you can go to the commissioner and post the bail, but then there's bails that you post at the circuit court level. And I've posted many of those. And every time I go to post that bail, I have some type of changed policy or some type of something that's going on. This person doesn't know what this person is doing. And so I feel like there's a strong disconnect of just people or the clerks knowing exactly what needs to be done and taking pride in that. And so that's going to take some time to make sure that they're actually trained up to care. A lot of it is they don't I feel like they just don't care. Like, whatever, I'm just here for my 8 hours and I'm gonna go home. But I want to change the culture of that within the courthouse.
Wow. So y'all hear that? So we got to get behind a vote, 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 vote. If you know anyone, you got family, friends, it doesn't matter, associates that live in PG County, encourage them to vote Qiana Johnson. Y'all here, y'all see her. Encourage your people to vote, 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 vote. Whatever we need to do, post. There is what I am going to do is I'm going to put the link in the chat. So I'm putting a link in the chat. Copy and paste that link so that you can share it. Those of us that live outside of PG County, we might can't vote, but we can encourage other people to vote that lives there, if that makes sense.
And
we can post it.
You can also find out who your clerk is, because it's not all about me. This position is in every single circuit court in the state. Find out who your clerk is and what they're doing, what their record is, and hold them accountable.
Yeah, but we need you to get in office. So once you make these changes, then we got something, we got some substance we can take to fight with. Right now, we ain't got too much arsenal. We waiting on you to get in position so that once these changes are made, these adjustments are made, and it's creative. And I believe the community will appreciate it, because all we really want is people to be honest with us. All we really want is for people to tell the truth. And that's really it. Like, we are the ones that are affected in the community. So why not be transparent? Why not share the information openly? Now, we know some information can't be disclosed. It can't be shared. But the information that, if it's public knowledge, make it public knowledge. Mm-hmm. For those that care, for those that are affected immediately and from a distance. I don't know who wouldn't want a system designed like that. I want to talk a little bit about, I'm shifting again, leadership and character. You shared with us a little bit, but I want you to go a little bit in detail. How do you handle the pressure, the criticism, and or the opposition? You spoke earlier about there are naysayers. There are voices in your ear that's telling you that you shouldn't be, you can't, you could, you gave us a laundry list. How do you handle that?
Well, I stay in deep meditation and prayer first and foremost, because I know, and this is the foundational scripture that got me through my incarceration, was that all things, Romans 8:28 states that all things work together for my good, because I am called according to his purpose, period. And so period, it's a period after that. It's not a comma, it's not a semicolon, it's not a dash, but it's a period. And so I often refocus on that and understand that no one can put a comma, or no one can rewrite what God has already told me, right? That's going to be good for my good. And so even in the naysayers' comments, I have to reshift my thinking and make myself mentally stronger than their comments in order to be able to move that. I wasn't always that way. I was a mess at times, but it's a lot to do with my spiritual practices and my support system. I have a wonderful support system. As soon as I talked to you in Annapolis and I told you, hey sis, I need you, right within a couple of days, I got you. I'm putting you on the show.
Because that is what we do. We don't talk about it. We just do it. That is what I appreciate about this particular community, because we really are supporting one another no matter where you at. We have people in Atlanta. We have people in Texas. We got, shout out to Hulon. We got people in Tennessee. We got people all over that is tapped in, and that gives the support, So it's important to me when someone is doing whatever it is. You want to be a singer, I don't care. A young girl was like, I really like music. I write poetry. And the same day she did it, I told her, I'm about to go live on TikTok. We went live on TikTok. I said, now come on, rap your music. And we did a whole little did a whole little talent show on TikTok because we have resources. And some people don't really know or are not in a position to encourage themselves to tap into the many resources that we have. And so that's what I do. I've always been that person. I'm going to create an opportunity. If it doesn't exist, if I don't see it, if it ain't right here, I'm going to create it for the people that is around me, the people that is what's in my reach, the people that is talking. Because one of the things that since I've been home, I realized people just talk too much. And they ain't really saying nothing. They just repeating themselves. You ever been in a conversation, a person just repeating themselves, but they saying it differently, like you the dumb one, like you slow. And I'm like, it just, and I say that respectfully, I really do. But it just gets on my nerves that we talk so much. And earlier you talked about intentions. I don't want to hear about your intentions. Your intentions is for you to examine. I don't want to hear about your intentions because you may have good intentions and it goes in a different direction. So what we gonna blame your intentions? Nope. You can say, I want to do this. That's just like being incarcerated and somebody say, all right, I'm gonna send you money, I'm gonna write you, and they don't do it. Well, you had good intentions, and those good intentions hurt me over the years because you didn't follow through with your words. So come on with your good intentions and just do it. Mm-hmm. Just do it. And so that's my thing. And so that's why I move so quickly because I would never miss the opportunity to support someone if it's within my capacity. And I believe in what you're doing. I support you. And it's not just because you were incarcerated. It's because you're out here doing it. You're doing the work. You're not just talking about it. You're actually doing the work. And so that's why I'm committed to supporting you in this endeavor. And my prayer is that you will get the desires of your heart. That's my prayer. And I see you sometimes when you become the court clerk. I see you a couple times. I got some ladies from PG County now. Got to make sure.
I know. And my doors will always be open to community. Yep.
Yes. I appreciate that about you. So as we wind down, I want to just talk about the impact a little bit. If and when, let's say when you are elected, when you are elected, what legacy do you want to leave?
That's that legacy that I want to leave. And my mentor taught me that you never really can know Oprah, which I did get to meet her, by the way. I don't know if you remember.
You did?
Yes, I'm going to show you the video. I did get to meet Oprah. Okay. Remember, I always talk about Oprah, and I did meet Oprah. I met Oprah about 2 years ago.
Okay, congratulations.
Thank you. But my mentor Oprah taught me, and I think Maya Angelou taught her, is that you don't know what your legacy will be because it's like a ripple effect when you throw a rock into the lake and you don't know how that vibration, how far it will spread. However, I hope that my legacy will include the fact that I was for the people, by the people, for the people. I really hope that that's a part of my legacy. I hope that a part of my legacy is that I did not take no for an answer, right? I did not take no for an answer. I did not allow my situation or my circumstances to define and make me who I am today. And so I hope that that is a part of my legacy, and hoping that people see that, right, before they see anything else. I hope that they see that I'm for the people, by the people, and that I did not allow my circumstances or situation to define who I am today or who I will be tomorrow.
And so with that being said, what do you want people to feel when they hear your name?
I want them to feel redemption.
Ooh.
Hmm. I want them to feel redeemed. I want them to feel redeemed. I want them to feel redemption. I want them to feel worthy um, of whatever it is that they're trying to do. So many of us suffer in silence of our own thoughts. Imposter syndrome. They've never been incarcerated a day in their life. They maybe have a doctor's degree. They may have, but they suffer with this imposter syndrome. And so when people see me, I want them to say, "Look, she did it. I know I can do it." And I want them to feel. I want them to feel redeemed. I want them to feel redemption.
All right. That's deep. What is one thing you want voters to truly understand about you that goes beyond your past? Uh-oh, is we frozen? Look now, Wi-Fi, internet, stop it. We are at the end. And this is a good question.
I'm done. I'm on my computer. Okay. Uh-huh.
All right. So, what is one thing you want voters to truly understand about you that goes far beyond your past?
I want people to understand about me again that I just don't take no for an answer. I don't see things as they are. I see them as they should be, or as I want them to be, right? And so even with this position, like I said, historically, it's been an administrative position without a lot of ways in which you could do different things. But we have a legislative process, right? So if things aren't the way we like them, we can legislate it. We can always talk about change. We do not have to accept things the way that they are. And I want people to understand that. And that's been me before my incarceration. That's been me way back, and that has followed me and will continue to follow me and continue to grow stronger as I continue to engage with every time somebody tells me no, every time somebody says this can't be done.
Girl, I'm about to fan out. Can I get your autograph? All right. So this is the last question that I am going to ask you before we close. And I think it's the unique part about this is, I guess, the wow factor. I think this is the second time or third time High Def said wow. So I think the wow factor that catches people attention is the fact that you were incarcerated.
Mm-hmm.
And it gives hope to those, whether you were physically incarcerated or psychologically incarcerated. If you know what insecurities look like, feel like, if you know what self-doubt looks like, feel like, we all can say that we struggled in this area. But there is a set group of people who life will forever be changed because of what you are out here doing. And so I want to ask you this question. Do you believe your past is a liability or your greatest qualification, and why?
Hmm. I guess you would have. I guess you got to catch me on the day for
I
that.
like that.
You
I
got,
like that too.
you got to catch me on the day because, and a lot of the times people, they say they with you. They say, "Oh yeah, I'm with formerly incarcerated people." I could be an ally, but in the back of their mind, they be thinking and they portray, that we are a liability, right? They don't
Oh,
trust it. And then, as far as me in this particular position, I would have to say that it's my biggest qualifier, right?
all right.
Because even if I was an attorney doesn't know what it feels like to have a mistake between consecutive and concurrent in the time of day that your case was heard, and the importance of the time of day that your case was heard for it to make a difference and have an impact, and that you might do 6 months longer. There's not going to have an attorney that has that qualifier for compassion. And that is what gives me, I have a qualifier because that qualifies me to be more compassionate to people who are inside of the system, for people who are not just impacted by the criminal legal system, but custody. Because if the same thing happens and you don't have your child for 6 months longer because, someone messed up paperwork and now you don't have custody of your child for 6 months, that mistake, it doesn't matter just because it was in a criminal case. That could have the same effect in a civil case as well, right? So me understanding that a mistake on a piece of paper could greatly affect someone's life is what qualifies me to be in that position.
Girl, what the kids say? Clock it. Clock it. Y'all heard what she said now. Yes, yes, yes. Oh my goodness. You are beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So good, people. Y'all heard her. Y'all selves. Y'all met the woman. Y'all know I ain't lying. I ain't playing. I really do know somebody that is running for the clerk position in the courts. Great points. Oh yeah, indeed. And so it is. So before we close, can you tell us why is it important to get involved, to vote, to support those that are running for different offices and positions? Why is it important for the community to get involved in some kind of way?
Listen, family, if you are not at the table, you will definitely be on the menu. You'll be served, right? You'll be in the oven somewhere. We have to get involved. I beat myself up all the time because I know for a fact if I had not gone through my experience, I would not be involved in it. I would not be involved in the process at all. I would not care. I probably would vote just during the presidential elections, but it would not be something that I care about because I wouldn't understand. But everything that we do, from having a job, how much we get paid, the court process, and you see that right now in the government workers. And I was a federal government worker before my incarceration. I worked for the federal government for 11 years. And I thought I had made it. Like, wow, I'm a government employee. But if you see now, the government employees are not even stable, right?
Right.
A lot of them now are getting politicized and becoming a part of the process because they understand that their senator and their congresspeople actually impact whether or not they get paid. Now they know it because their pockets are hurt.
Right. Yeah.
And so let not it come to a situation with you or a loved one, a dire situation, in order for you to become politicized. I never went to Annapolis. I never thought about going to Annapolis. But when I went to Annapolis for the first time, when I came home to help change, to make sure that women inside have feminine hygiene products free of charge in the state of Maryland, that was the first bill that I worked on when I came home in 2018. I saw white people with their babies in baby bags in Annapolis. And I was like, what? What are they? But they teach that. They teach that to their children. They teach them from early on. And I beg us to break those generational curses in our families, where I will be the first politician in my family. I have doctors, I have lawyers, I have attorneys, but I will be the very first in my family to be in politics. And so, but I am politics. You are politics. Everyone in the comment section is politics. We just don't know it yet until we experience something that pushes us to the edge.
Right. Yes, girl. I gotta have you back. So when does the voting start?
So in the state of Maryland, voting is June 23rd. Please, again, if you are incarcerated or impacted by the system in any way, you are eligible to vote. Please don't let anybody tell you anything different. Early voting is June 11th through the 18th in person. If you would like to have a mail-in ballot, please go to the Board of Elections website and request that. It will not come to you if you do not request your mail-in ballot. So please be involved. Be an active participant in our legislative process. Be an active participant in our voting process and our electoral process, because our lives absolutely depend on it.
Yes, yes. And so one of the things that you can do, the Pusher community is having a fundraiser gala May the 16th. I encourage you to come. That way you can network, get more people to rally in all the endeavors. Because this is not one thing that you do. This is not just it. You do so many other things. And so it's always good to have the backing of your community, no matter where we are on the globe. And so I encourage you to bring you and your team and come have some fun and network with people, because you never know who you will run into, who you will meet, who you will have a conversation with. I appreciate you for sacrificing your Wednesday evening in this hour with us. It has been a delight, definitely a joy for me. I think that you are an amazing woman, and I appreciate everything that you are doing. You are somebody that I believe you're not doing this work um, just because it's a popular thing to do. You're doing it because it's necessary. And if you are in this work, you know, ain't nothing popular about it. It is taxing to your heart, it's taxing to your mind, it's taxing to your body, because you are investing all of you for a fight that don't just benefit you but benefit a body of people. And so let's rally with her and support her. Let's talk about it. Let's post it on our social media handles. That's why we got them. It doesn't take much but a couple seconds to paste, cut and paste whatever you need to do and post. We on social media all the time, and I know most of y'all on social media all the time because y'all liking my stuff. So let's share. That is one way, because we're so quick to say, well, I'm not from PG County, I can't really do nothing, but you really can. Just by talking about it, you're doing enough. Just by sharing the information and being intentional about finding your friends and your families in PG County and encouraging them to vote, you want somebody that cares about and have a passion about what it is that they're doing. And so what better person to put in that seat than Miss Qiana Johnson, who is invested in this, not because you asked somebody asked her to, but because it's in her heart to, and just operating in her gifts, her purpose, her talents, her creativity. So once again, let's rally with her. Let's stand behind her. Let's all become her campaign managers and make this thing exciting. I will definitely post it. If you get flyers, whatever it is that you're doing, if you're speaking, I might not physically can't be there, but I know what I am capable of doing. And so just give me the information. I will share it. I'll even share it on a platform, but I would like for you to come back when we get close to that time. Or anytime, whenever you feel compelled to come back, you got something to say, um, or you want to bring other people, just let me know and we'll make it happen, because this is not just my platform. This belongs to you as well. So yes, welcome to the Pusher community. This is what we do.
Thank you for having me, Shantae. I see you. Shantae, Shantae helped me get through a lot of days. I'll never forget you, Shantae. Much love.
Yes, Shantae is definitely that person. She's definitely that person. I always have something encouraging to say, and it feels good to know that when your peers say that they are proud of you, when your peers are watching you, it makes a big difference. So I definitely appreciate it. So if you have any last words before we go.
Romans 8:28. If all things are working together for our good, don't ever forget that.
All things, not some things,
not some things, all
but
things.
all things work together for those that love the Lord. Yes, yes, yes. And so with that said, Etta, I appreciate you for being the first one to open the doors of the Pusher community. Miss Cynthia, I see you. Shout outs to you for showing up. Michelle Fitzgerald, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. I thank you. Miss Charles, I see you as always. Mr. Hulon, thank you for your service, sir. We appreciate you giving us your ear. High Def Tone, as always, thank you for being in the building. Shantae, thank you, and thank you for subscribing. Thank you, thank you, thank you. V, we thank you for tapping in. Yes, I love it. Bringing community to the courthouse. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Yes, we are. I just want to make sure I shout everybody that has put a comment in. Brandy, we thank you for your support. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. We thank you. Yes, ma'am. All things, yes, all things work together for our good because we love the Lord. And so, with that said, until next time, I love you all, and there's nothing, I mean, absolutely nothing you can do about it. In the meantime, between time, don't forget to copy and paste that link that I put in the chat for you all to share with your family and friends. I'll put it in there again. Just copy and paste that real quick, and even try, just because we don't live in PG County, even try to vote. To go on there and try to vote. But even if you cannot vote,
you can follow me. You can follow me on social media.
You can follow her on social media. You can actually donate too, because it takes money to run a campaign.
Or you can phone bank. We phone bank virtually, so there's a way.
Phone banks are virtually. So if you want to volunteer, if you want to get involved, roll your sleeves up and give back to your community, this is one way of doing that, which is volunteering. That is the best kind of work to do in this world, is volunteer. No one is telling you. You are choosing, making a decision to commit yourself to something. And so I just want to challenge us to get involved. Let's back up, whatever we can do. Everybody got cell phones. So I ain't trying to hear it. Because y'all scrolling up and down social media most of the time. So get on your phones and let's help Qiana get this message out there, and call these people and encourage them to vote, 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 vote. Y'all hear me out there, people?
Thank y'all.
All right, all right. I'll see you next week, and you never know who will be on. So I thank you all for showing up. I thank you all for tapping in. We started on time. We ended a little late. I appreciate y'all for sticking around with me, but I definitely appreciate y'all time. We holla. It is your girl Pusher. If you're not pushing forward, you're moving backwards. Say it out loud. For whatever, back was never. No, really say that thing out loud. For whatever, back was never. Have you gotten your copy of It Takes One to Know One workbook and journal and people pusher? No, then travel over to pusherlife.org, go to the author's page, and you will find It Takes One to Know One and People Pusher. Come tap in.